Welcome back, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. Today, I'm very happy to introduce Charlie Halpern and Chellie Grossman. It's kind of a tongue twister because we got Charlie and Chellie in there. They kind of look the same. But this is a topic that's not easily discussed. It's on dementia. And my experience with dementia, I used to work at an adult day healthcare center, and I met all kinds of people, all walks of life, people with Alzheimer's, people with cancer, people with that were just elderly and wanted to hang out, and people that were even young, people with seizure disorders, people with dementia, people of all walks of life. And the one thing that I found in common that everybody had is that everybody wanted to connect with love. And that is really one of the most beautiful thing that brought us all together. And with that, I remember uh, what sparked us all up together was playing music, singing, dancing, art. These things were very therapeutic for everybody as a whole. The one thing that is the most difficult thing is talking about this. So I'm very, very grateful that the both of you are coming up forth to talk about this topic that's very challenging for everybody involved, and the bravery that you all go through. So thank you so much for being on A Little Less for your podcast, and I really hope we can shed some light into your life and to our viewers, watchers, and listeners. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you for the space, Lino.
Yes,
Thank you.
anytime, anytime. So walk us through this. How did you even figure out that this was happening to you?
You want me to start?
Well, I'll start real quick.
Okay.
And
Yeah, sure.
I uh, had some symptoms that I didn't really even recognize that something was wrong. I was slurring my speech. I was talking a little slower. I had fallen a couple of times. Um, Maybe been a little bit confused. You noticed it, right?
I did. And
Yeah.
he looked different, and he sounded different, and his affect was almost flat, and his tone, there was very little variation in his
Yeah.
tone.
So went to a regular doctor first, and um, had a CAT scan or an MRI, I forget which, of my brain. And there was an abnormality in there. They didn't know what it was. They couldn't really diagnose anything from it, but that was enough to cause them to send me to a neurologist. And once at the neurologist, he listened. And my mother passed away many years ago from ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. Um, and The neurologist, after hearing our story without doing any testing, decided that I had, what was it,
Frontotemporal dementia. A preliminary. He didn't decide.
Yeah.
He didn't decide. He said it was a preliminary diagnosis of ALS and frontotemporal dementia, which was very scary. But I just want to back up for a minute.
Sure.
One of the beginning signs that I noticed that was very, very troublesome for me was a tremor in Charlie's left hand and a tremor in his tongue. And so when I saw these things, I got very nervous, and I was concerned about Parkinson's.
Right.
I was very concerned about Parkinson's. And I said, I think that you either have some Parkinson's going on, or maybe you had like a mini stroke. And that led us to getting checked. And that led us to going to the neurologist. And the neurologist definitely scared us in the beginning. I told Charlie in the beginning, I said, this is a neurologist. We're not going to hear things for a while because we need to have tests done before there's any diagnosis. And that very first day, the doctor said, I think you have ALS and frontotemporal dementia. And that set off a 30-pound weight loss for him.
Wow.
Yeah, it was freaky. And he also said, the thing that scared me the most is he said that I can no longer drive. Now I'm 62 years old. I've been driving my whole life, and I've been independent. So, I mean, the loss of independence that implied was just mind-boggling. I was so angry. I felt like I almost punched the doctor. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This can't be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so
Yeah, that was a lot to hear from the very first appointment without any
Oh,
testing.
yeah, I can't imagine. I'm really
And
sorry. Yes.
yeah, and then within the next few weeks, he had lumbar puncture, EMG. He had a skin biopsy because the second appointment, I said, I'm starting to notice some more cognitive impairment, and Charlie's having hallucinations. And he said, so what about, have you ever heard of Lewy body dementia? And I'm like, yes, my grandma had Lewy body dementia. So I know about it. And I didn't know that there was a test for it. But there's a skin biopsy that you can have where they do 3 different incisions, and they test for the actual Lewy bodies in the skin that determines whether or not you have Lewy body dementia. And his skin biopsies came back positive for Lewy body, and his lumbar puncture came back positive for Alzheimer's, and his EMG came back negative for ALS.
How
so
did knowing this now, how did that change from the beginning of what they
yeah,
had first told you?
it was a huge relief knowing I didn't have ALS, because I had watched my mother go through that and die within 2 years of diagnosis. Um, and but
I think the biggest change is we decided that that doctor was
yeah,
not for us.
I didn't like him.
Yeah, I mean, if he concluded that right from the start without doing any additional tests, I would have. And that's definitely the best decision to go
Like,
with other doctors.
Yeah.
now, backstory on me. I already had a diagnosis of leukemia. So I have leukemia, have had it for many years. Luckily, it's relatively stable, and I am not taking any medication or chemo for it. But I always knew in the back of my mind that it would probably shorten my lifespan. When I got this news, it was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, now I have 3 things in me that could kill me. It's like, somebody, I felt like somebody up there wants me dead. I mean, that's the feeling that went through me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why am I getting all this? This is too much for one person to deal with.
Well, you're not in this alone.
Yeah, I've been very, very lucky. Chellie is, I don't know if you know this.
I don't think he knows.
We were married many years ago.
Oh, okay.
We've been,
So you know each other very well.
yeah, we were, even though our marriage ended a long time ago, we've stayed friends for
34 years.
34 years.
Wow, it's incredible.
And she stepped up, and when I need to go somewhere, she's there unless she has some other appointment. And she's been driving me around and just generally supporting me and trying to make me happy and comfortable in any way possible. And it's a constant battle to stay happy. Like, I don't want to be miserable and depressed for the duration.
So we talked about this before we got on with Lino. What are some of the things that make you happy?
Yeah, that's an excellent question.
Hanging out with Chellie makes me happy. Going for walks.
We just went for a really big walk the other day, right?
Yeah.
Tell them about that.
I was in Umstead Park, and it was about a mile and a half.
No, 3.5 miles.
Back and
Wow.
forth.
I could barely do half a mile walk with that. That's
The big walk.
incredible.
That was a big walk for him.
Do you find, Charlie, that I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, his doctor was saying that he really needed to start walking. So initially he started walking like where he lives, just around the development. And then after he felt confident walking around the development, he started feeling a little more confident walking from where he lives to the coffee shop, which I told him is 1.5 miles. So then when I invited him on a walk with me, I'm like, it's 1.5 miles that you're walking already. So we'll walk 1.5 miles one way, we'll sit and rest, and then we'll walk 1.5 miles the other way.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it.
Yes.
And I should say that I'm taking one pill. It's called Aricept, or donepezil, and it is the only thing they've given me. But it has eliminated almost all of the symptoms that we talked about earlier.
Really?
I don't have the flat demeanor anymore. I don't have the shaking.
Do you know how
No,
the
no, no,
medication works? What kind of
you
Still shake a little bit.
you still have the shaking.
A little bit.
What it did was it cleared up his cognition considerably, but it
Wow.
didn't affect the shaking. He still shakes considerably.
Yeah.
I notice it when he doesn't hold his phone. So when there's an object in his hand, he doesn't shake as much. But when there's nothing in his hand, then he does shake.
Does the medication stop the disease from progressing so fast? Is that what it is?
No.
No.
So it does not stop the progression. It just gives you time to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy, is what I think. That's how I think
Okay.
of it. And it gives you time to do all of what you need to do, which is what we've been doing.
Right.
We've been getting all of the important things taken care of, like the will
Mm-hmm.
and the important documents that need to be signed,
Right.
the things that you don't typically want to think about, but when you're slammed with this kind of diagnosis, you don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what about the depression? Is the medication easing any of the depression?
No, I don't think so. I suffered from depression and anxiety for quite a while, even before the diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's, I mean, I still have depression and anxiety. I think maybe my anxiety is a little worse than it used to be, although it was pretty bad. So I take a lot of medication for depression and anxiety. And I still take that medication. And but I don't feel, most of the time, I don't feel depressed. I just try not to think about what inevitably is going to happen and try to focus on what I can do to feel better. And I enjoy playing word games on my phone. I enjoy,
Don't we do that together even?
Yeah. I enjoy eating a lot. I don't know.
So one of the things that if we're not seeing each other, and we pretty much see each other 5 days a week minimally, but when we don't see each other, we'll see each other either on a video call or we'll talk like every day a lot, and we do Wordle, we do Wordscapes, we talk about the news. Basically, we're using our brains together.
Yes.
And we're stimulating each other with that. It's really important to keep using your brain before and after you have a diagnosis like this.
Yeah.
And what's another way that you're happy?
When I was in high school and junior high school, but mostly in high school, my whole life revolved around music, and I almost went into music as a career.
Oh, wow.
I did not. I was very good. In fact, I played tenor saxophone in the New York City All-City High School Band, and we performed in Carnegie Hall for 2
Wow,
years.
that's
2
so
years.
awesome.
That was it was really cool. And when it came time to go to college, I had to decide whether I wanted to pursue music or not. And I don't know why, really, I gave it up. And I haven't played my sax I haven't even seen my sax very much in 40 some odd years. And I ultimately, Chellie wound up with my saxophone. It had been in various places over the years. And she decided to get it refurbished after 40 years. You'd have to get it fixed up.
It's an incredible gift.
And she gave it to me, and I'm approaching it very tentatively. I try to play, and I think it sounds terrible, but it's.
What did you say today? I love his sense of humor because it is self-deprecating, and he's just so funny. But I played a part of something that he played for me, and I said, "This is amazing! I love it." And what did you say?
I say, I'll get you a hyena. That's what it sounds like to me. A hyena.
I think
And
he's so funny.
I was so good now, and now I'm so not good. But
That's not
you know,
true.
it's 40
It's 40 years.
some odd years. So
Oh yeah,
it's
that's
been
a long time.
up.
I mean, you can't expect to just go in there and be Miles Davis, you know? I mean,
Yeah. So but that makes me happy. The thought that maybe one day I'll be good again kind of makes me happy. And um, yeah, so that's
And what is bringing us together every single day? What are we doing?
every day.
Almost every day.
I give up.
The YouTube.
The YouTube. We can talk about the YouTube. Chellie had this idea to do a YouTube uh, about what I'm going through. So you can, why don't you talk about it a little bit?
I asked Charlie if he would feel comfortable doing a YouTube channel about his journey, learning to live with this diagnosis, and my journey, learning to switch from friend to caregiver and back and forth.
mhm.
And he said yes. And I said, I think we can, this could be a living legacy, and it can also help so many other people.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So we just started the YouTube channel this week.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and it's called Charlie's Dementia Journey.
That's incredible. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's we've been doing videos every chance we get. Just you know, some mundane stuff, some more serious stuff, some everything. Um, we hope to get some experts on to talk about various topics as well.
That would
Like
be
we were
great.
in the car. I don't even know if you know this, but we were in the car and we videoed, when we were at the attorney's office talking about how he felt before he went in to go and do the will.
Mhm. Oh yes. And then afterwards, did you do it
Well,
before and after? Oh,
we
you're
haven't done.
about to.
We're about to do that. That's going to be this week, and then we're gonna do that one at the end of this week.
Wow,
Beginning.
that's really courageous. I can't say I've ever seen a video like that. I think that's going to be very powerful.
Yeah. So we're talking about very real things that are meaningful and helping people understand to make those decisions now before catastrophe happens.
Right.
Because when you're in that catastrophe, these are the last things you want to think about.
Right. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for example, even when I just had anxiety and depression, I was able to get myself on disability, and luckily, so otherwise I would have had to do it when I was diagnosed with the dementia. But that's something that people have to deal with. There's a whole process behind that. You have to, people need to be aware. Money is a very tricky issue because down the road, I may need, for example, to live in a assisted living kind of a facility or a memory facility, they call it.
Hmm.
And that's going to cost money, and I may or may not have. I mean, I only have what I have, but that's kind of an issue that is a little difficult to grapple with.
Yeah.
Is it dealing with, will I have enough money to live?
Mhm.
As long as I can. Yeah.
Charlie, have you had the chance to connect with other people with dementia?
Um, Not yet, but through the YouTube, I think it might be possible.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think definitely be possible. And even on Instagram, what about making an Instagram and even following people with, because I know on Instagram, when I first got on Instagram, I was following a lot of people with all kinds of disabilities. I've got some wild disabilities, and it feels great to connect with other people that have like stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I think
when you can hashtag dementia and you can hashtag support disability awareness, and then all of a sudden you'll start getting people with like stuff, and that's the fun part. You could be scrolling and
Yeah.
meeting other people and chatting with other people like this.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
want me to make you an Instagram account?
I don't know. But yeah.
But he is finding support from people from like years ago that he worked with.
Oh, great. How did that come to be?
They're responding to the YouTube
Oh,
and then
excellent. Great.
Yeah, because we posted it on his LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn, and on my Instagram.
Hmm.
So we
Yeah.
posted it all over, and he's just finding a lot of support, which I
Good.
think is fantastic.
It's nice, just people aren't necessarily going to visit me, but it's nice to know they're out there, and I could probably have a dialogue with them if I want. It's
Yeah, you could
mostly people.
probably do a Zoom call with them and even,
Yeah.
yeah, meet that way. Do you
Yeah.
find that when you go on your walks with Chellie that when you get the whole blood flow going and stuff, do you feel that you get more energy and a little more inspired after walking?
I think so. I think even when I walk by myself, it feels better to get out. Very often, it's difficult all I want to do is stay in bed most of the time, but getting out is difficult. But once I get out, I almost always feel better. When I take a walk with her, it's extra nice because we could talk.
What about
And
pets? Do you have any? Dog, cat?
yeah, no,
Would
no, it's
is
been
that an
suggested that
option?
I should have one.
Yeah.
Um,
That you shouldn't or you should?
it's not impossible. Hmm? Yeah,
It's
that I
been
should.
suggested that you
It's not
shouldn't.
impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how it is in Boston, right? You're in Boston?
North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. I'm so sorry, but I'm in California, and my cat, for example, is an emotional support pet, and I have him registered and stuff, and I love it. I love having pets. I think it could definitely help you out. I mean, just the attention of a pet, playing, probably younger. For you, I would say a younger pet where you could take them to the park and play ball with them, frisbee. My goodness, I mean, this stuff is just keep building neural pathways and just
Yeah,
continue your life. I mean, with joy, you know.
absolutely. I'm in favor of that.
Yeah.
I can see
We'll
you. I
see.
can see you with like a lab or something. I can see it.
I could see him with an itty bitty one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That too. I can see you with the lap dog. Yes.
Okay.
I can see him licking your face. I see it. And what
Yeah.
about do you find that different meals help you? Is dementia, I'm not too sure. I haven't studied the brain as far as if it has anything to do with inflammation. And if it does certain foods make you feel better? Do certain foods make you feel
I
better?
haven't noticed that phenomenon.
I've
Okay.
noticed.
Well,
I've noticed. So
Yeah, like what?
he does much better with sweet foods or spicy foods because his palate definitely changed.
Mm-hmm.
And if something is bland, he doesn't want it. It doesn't entice his hunger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Initially, he stopped wanting bread. He said all bread tasted like cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
So pizza tasted like cardboard, bread tasted like cardboard. There was no sandwiches that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that shifted a little bit. I don't remember exactly when that shifted.
yeah.
And then he was able to have like pizza again. And it was
Wow.
he started saying, I think they changed the ingredients over here. And I'm like, no, I think
Same.
your palate changed.
Yes.
But we bought him Tabasco, and he's doing really well with the Tabasco. And he loves, loves, loves his smoothies. And he
I
does
love
really well
smoothies too.
with glucerna because it's sweet.
Yeah. I also have diabetes. Well, not yet to be,
Yeah, he's got everything.
Mhm.
but the diabetes isn't a problem. But the Glucerna um, is okay for diabetes, and it's chocolate or vanilla drink. So and it has a fair amount of calories, which is good because I lost a lot of weight, and so I've gained back a good portion of that weight.
What are you able to add in the smoothies that help with your weight gain and help with your energy? And what about fruits and vegetables mixed together? Like bananas are pretty sweet.
Yeah,
And there's a
I
lot
eat
of
bananas.
potassium. Yeah, they're really good for neuroplasticity. I've read a lot of good stuff about bananas.
Yeah, I do eat bananas. probably don't get enough vegetables. The smoothies, whenever we go out for coffee, I usually don't get coffee. I get some kind of smoothie.
Yeah, and my understanding with dementia is that there are palate changes.
Yes.
It's just a very normal thing
Right.
to happen, and that many people with dementias, whichever one it is, do tend to go towards sweets.
Oh, interesting. That I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So now it's
and we
just finding that fine line, something that's going to be healthy and sweet and that you can enjoy.
yeah we've met with a nutritionist, and
Good.
Charlie does really well with his food now. There was a time when he didn't, but he does really well with his food, and he loves eating.
Great. Yeah, that's
Yeah, my appetite was low for a while, but it's back,
Yeah.
excellent.
and it
That's
feel good.
now.
So, I worry. It's hard not to think, when's all this going to end? I'm like waiting for the other shoe to drop, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
And it's a constant fight to stop doing that and to just try to focus on today and
Yes.
what's happening right now, and enjoying myself, and laughing, and doing whatever.
What
And
about
not
meditating?
Hmm?
What about meditating?
Meditating. Interesting topic.
Now, why don't you show him how you meditate?
Well, I
You don't.
don't meditate
That's-
much.
that's
She's a
me.
big meditator. Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you, huh? Why not
Yeah.
try it?
I sort of tried it a little bit. I tried yoga, which I didn't like very much. But I've done a little bit of the kind of the breathing that you would do when you meditate, and the repetitive phrases you say and things of that nature. I've done a little bit of that. I probably should do more. That probably could help. Yeah, but I'm not.
Even just zoning out and listening to Stan Getz would be
Yeah,
meditating.
yeah, my music. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that is meditation, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, jazz is amazing. I love jazz. All that jazz. I had another question. So it was about meditating, and then I was gonna ask you something about that. Oh, Hertz frequency. Have you heard of Hertz frequency? There's some Hertz frequency that can help you like fall asleep peacefully and at the same time do quote unquote DNA repair, and there's all kinds of different Hertz frequencies. There's like 538, 528, there's
Yeah.
700, and you can fall asleep to it. And that's something that I've been doing for like a year now, and I can tell you that I wake up in a better mood every time I do it. And even if I miss one night, the next day I'm kind of cranky. I'm like, what? Oh, that's because I didn't do my DNA repair the night. But it's
Yeah.
really amazing.
I've been doing that for like 13 years.
What? Okay, you know more about that than I do.
Yeah. Look up Glenn Harold. Glenn with two
What? I
N's.
didn't know this. Let me write this down. What
I
is
think
it?
I told you. I think I told you last time.
I don't
Glenn Harold.
remember this. No, Glenn
Yeah.
Howell?
Glenn Harold. GLENNHARROLD. Glenn Harold.
I don't remember about Glenn Harold.
He
No.
has got some amazing sleep and anxiety meditations. They just go on and I go out. Like,
Charlie, I
I'm-
think that'll help you. Seriously. I think
Yeah.
this stuff will help you. And also they even have these bowls that make these sounds.
I
And
have
that's
it
supposed
downstairs.
you Yeah, all that stuff is great. But I mean, geez, if you love jazz, that's probably gonna help you out even more. Whatever you love more, whatever you find more joy. But I say try it all out. Whatever's gonna bring, even if it's a little tiny ounce of joy. I mean, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. What can you tell our viewers, our watchers, and our listeners that are going through this, and that are in the beginning stages? What can you tell them to motivate them?
It's very important to have someone to help you and be there for you. I can't imagine trying to do this alone without Chellie. And and it becomes even minimally someone to help drive you to places. There are organizations that you could go to where they might be able to find a driver with enough notice to take you places. But you can't get around if you can't drive, and you've got to just try to stay positive. Don't throw in the towel. Don't give up what's left of your life, because one thing they told us is that there's no timeline.
That's
They
sweet to
said
hear.
they said there's some people within a year after they're diagnosed, they start going downhill.
Hmm.
And they said they know someone who's been okay for 10 years, hasn't started going downhill yet.
Right.
So there's no way to know, apparently, when it's going to happen. And so you need to take every opportunity you can to have some joy and some fun, and to live life, and until that's, at some point that's going to become more difficult. And yeah, so that's the best advice. But having someone and taking care of things like doing a will, and eventually we're going to start looking at assisted living places, just to get an idea of what's out there,
Hmm.
so that when the time comes, and eventually we're even going to look at funeral places.
Hmm.
Just got to be practical about it. You want to try to
Right.
get everything set up so that there's a little less worry and confusion at the end. But yeah, that's kind of
Chellie,
it.
what can you tell our viewers, our watchers, and our listeners? What would you like an
I think
audience to know?
I want everyone to know that I want to validate everything that Charlie said. I think everything he said was like so spot on, and I'm so proud of you for saying all of that.
Totally.
Thank you so much. And I want everyone to know that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel angry, to feel scared, to feel like it's overwhelming. And in those moments, reach out to someone who is safe, someone who is loving, someone who can embrace you. And if you don't have that, then reach out to an organization with a social worker who will embrace you with love and caring and compassion. But there are people, and you just need to learn to ask for help. Asking for help is going to be key. I reached out to my community just the other day, and I told them what's going on. And one of the people in my community said, "How can we all support you and Charlie?" And
Wow.
I just
Beautiful.
broke down crying, because that just opened the floodgates. So reach out for help, allow yourself to feel whatever you need to feel, and allow people to be there for you, because likely you would be there for someone else.
Exactly. Absolutely. Well, that's very beautiful. These arms are embracing the both of you. I'm probably half your size, but I'm reaching around and giving you my joy and love from a distance. Thanks so much for being so
Thank
open,
you.
and I really hope to see I hope to see a puppy licking your face in one of those YouTube videos very soon.
I hope you watch our YouTube videos,
I have
and
subscribed to your YouTube channel, yes, and
thank
I've seen a
you.
couple. Thank you so much, and
Thank
I'll
you.
definitely start spreading the word. And this will be out. Give us about a month or so, but before I'm able to post this. But I mean, anytime you need someone to talk to, either one of you, feel free to reach out to me. And if you have a message to the world, I can put it on the podcast. And thank you so much for your courage. Keep
Live with
going.
joy. That's my message. Live with joy.
Absolutely. Live with joy. I love it. And you know what? That's going to be the title of this. Dementia, colon, how to live with joy. Yeah. Your love is definitely vibrating. Thank you so much for being on a
Thank you,
little
Lena.
Thank
lesbian
you.
podcast. I wish you so much love and joy. We'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.